34.
33.
32.
31.
30.
29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22.
21.
20.
19.
18.
8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Hi, and welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty, fresh take on politics. And hey, we had a great show tonight. We have Blair Englehart. And if anybody has been around politics for very long, they'll know who Blair Englehart is. He has masterfully guided his way through many, many, many campaigns. In fact, this time he had 14 campaigns he was involved with. And if I'm not mistaken, he's fairly old. I think he was actually on Abraham Lincoln's campaign. And that's, he lost several times, but then Blair got on there and then he won presidency. So he's been around for a while. So I think you're going to enjoy his political viewpoints. Now, if he was on Twitter, it would be my opinions are mine and mine alone, or whatever they say on Twitter when they don't want any back talk from anything. But hey, we're going to have a good show tonight. We're going to talk about the local elections and what else. We're going to talk about the polls. And we did a little interesting poll on Facebook and on Twitter that talked about the Republican Party in Marion County and here in Indianapolis. It seems like the Democrats have about 60%, about every race here. They've got 60% or more. So the question is, hey, do you think the Republicans can ever, be competitive again? So we'll talk about those poll results. And if you haven't voted, you can go to the Mouthwash page, you can go to the Twitter, and you can get your vote in, and we're going to tally them up here in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and bring on Blair. He's been so nice to get with us tonight here, so I'm going to bring him on. Let's go with the big picture. Let's go with the. Hey, Blair, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, if nobody caught you, you just were on a couple weeks ago, but if nobody saw that show, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started.
Well, like you said, I'm very old, number one. So, no, I've been around in marketing and advertising for years. And before I got into politics, I was very heavily into the financial industry marketing and food marketing. So I got into this in about 2006 and been involved in some big races over the years. Curtis Hill for Attorney General, just got Daniel Elliott elected treasurer, and bunch of mayors and bunch of other races. So we do races, congressional races on down to city council races and county council races and that type of thing.
Yep, and a lot of years of experience. So what was your big race this time, and how did you fare in it?
I guess I had 3 mayor's races this time: Martinsville, Frankfort, and Kokomo. We did really well. We won all. We lost. We went 13-1. We lost 1 city council seat up in Kokomo, but we knew we were going to lose that one. But I think we did pretty good, and we're looking for the same. I think we're already at 14 races for next cycle, and we shut everything off, so we're not taking on any more business. So
yeah, well, if that was a Colts record, they'd be in the playoffs. So that's a pretty good darn record. I know you always want to win them all for your people,
right?
That's great. So hey, we're going to go ahead and get to it. I'm going to go ahead and bring the panel on here. We're going to put you out in the hot seat. Let's make that happen right away here. And then let's see that I'm going to bring on Lucy first. Let's bring on Lucy. Lucy, how you doing? I'm putting you out in the hot seat. Blair, you're not in the hot seat yet. Lucy, how's it going tonight?
Well, I'm rocking a new laptop, which means a new camera and
we're
stand-up
paying you
desk.
Too much. We're paying you too much.
Yeah, that was a Christmas present for my husband, so that was awesome to get in the mail and do the unboxing. And then, of course, that allows me to stand up and show my Mouthwash t-shirt.
Yeah, we got to get you a new updated T-shirt.
Swag.
I mean, we have a copyrighted logo now. If you didn't notice, there by our friend.
Gary Varville is one of my favorite people, so to have his logo is incredible.
I know it. Yeah, this is an up and coming show. I like to tell people it's the fastest growing show on the internet. So let's go ahead and bring on Tiffany now. Let's see, Tiffany, come on out here. Now, Tiffany, I saw you looking down while the preview was going, but did you not see that I had a new picture for your intro there? You had the little chickie in your hands.
Oh gosh, I did not see it.
Yeah,
oh, that one. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's when I was outdoor knocking and I met this little boy. It was so funny. I knocked on the door and this chicken came to the door. And I was just like, okay. And it was nosy and it acted like it owned the house. And it was very, very interesting. It was very, very interesting. And,
Yeah. So, well, it's good to have you back. You were on hiatus for the primary for 45 days. Then you're, in double secret probation for 60 days before the election. That's due to our Channel 40 commitment. We can't have you on there because they are a rule following stickler bunch there. We're not so much here. I mean, you can even throw out a cuss word every once in a while. I can edit it out.
yay. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Well, let's go ahead and bring on Brad. Brad, you're out here. How you doing, Brad? Lone Democrat.
Is that going to get edited out?
What's that? What'd you say? You said a bad word?
Never mind.
Oh,
Seriously,
yeah.
the mic didn't even catch it.
I think you said the S word, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I wanted to test it out to see if we
It's okay. We're on it.
But like nobody heard it though.
Yeah. It's like if a tree falls in the woods. If a tree cusses in the woods, does anybody hear it?
Yeah.
No, that's it. So how you, Brad? How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Holidays. I'm still full from Thanksgiving. So.
Yeah, it's I made up a thing. Did you have a celebration or a toleration? That's the way.
Celebration. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people just get together
I know,
and
yeah,
have to tolerate each other. So, fortunately, that's pretty good. I do have some news about an upcoming show. I actually had Thanksgiving with my sisters. Our second one. My sisters we all have 4 kids each. So my one side sister had Thanksgiving, and one of the fiancés of one of their kids has a Palestinian mom and a Jordanian dad, and he's actually got a master's degree in that history of that place. He looked like Yasser Arafat. He had all the stuff on and everything. So I was at him, and my other niece has a Grenadian, I think that's how you say it, a dude from Grenada. That's her husband. So it was like an international Thanksgiving for me. But he's going to come on the show, and I'm going to guarantee you're going to like this because
That's awesome. Okay.
he's very knowledgeable about and he's got civil discourse. That's what I liked about it. We could sit there, we talked religion and politics, and nobody got thrown through a window. It was awesome. So
It's
I'm going to go
amazing
ahead.
when that happens. Yeah.
I know it. It's so we've got his number, and we're looking at him on January or December 12th, possibly. So Blair, here you are. You're on the Mouthwash show the second time. Your career's not been ruined from the first time. We're glad to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
It was a very good reception last time. A lot of folks watched the show. Very interesting. I learned a few things. So hopefully we'll be able to do that again. So we're just going to get the questions started. We're going to start with Tiffany. I know she's ready. She's ready. Okay.
Okay.
Go,
fantastic.
Tiffany.
Yeah, fantastic. So Blair, it sounds like you had a really great election cycle. What is your secret sauce?
Probably being old and been around over 100 campaigns and just kind of knowing the ins and outs and really doing the study, understanding the data, understand the marketing, and not taking on more than I can, work with at a period of time. I'm lucky. I've always, at my point in my career, I kind of get to work with the candidates that I want to work with. Earlier I kind of had stop it. My dog is trying to get food out of the bowl. Earlier in the career, you kind of worked with a lot of different people, but now I get to work with people that I want to work with. And this next cycle, I've got some wonderful people I'm working with. I'm excited.
He got so excited, he pushed the wrong button. It looks like
Follow-up question.
I bet his dog did it.
Did the dog?
your
No,
dog-
my son was calling me. So anyway, I've got some exciting races coming up. I just think it's all a matter of having good people on your team and having good candidates. I think that's,
Follow-up question. What kind of candidates do you prefer to work with?
ones that listen.
Well, you like Tiffany. She listens. Every time I talk to her, my consultant said.
And very few candidates will raise money, but really it's my job to run the campaign. It's the candidate's job to raise money, knock on doors, and make phone calls. Because unfortunately, in today's world, the candidates that have the money have a better chance of winning. That's just the unfortunate reality of the situation.
Okay, we're gonna jump into a question from the audience. We do that sometimes. This is sort of breaking news a little bit of Tara Klutz resigning is not breaking news, but Elsa Nashala is now the new comptroller, and I think I can see this one coming from a mile away. She was almost treasurer, 4 votes away from being treasurer, basically. And
right.
What do you think about that? What would you tell this viewer?
I think she is awesome. I know she's going to be a good comptroller. She's very strong conservative, and she's got a lot of talents. She knows how to put people together. She knows the job. I don't think Holcomb would have chosen her without the benefit of knowing what Tara Klutz would think. So I think at least she's going to be fine. I got to know her, and she's a rock star in the party. And quite honestly, one of the things that I've been trying to champion for years in the Republican Party, we need more strong women in the party, not just on the legislative side, but on the administrative side. We need more women. So I'm excited that the governor decided to stay that way, and she's going to be a good asset.
Yep. Now she's got to run again in 24, right? Is the comptroller, so she's going to have a little bit of a head start here, almost
Correct.
a year's worth.
Well, so she'll have the advantage of being able to raise money.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple of advice. So do you have any idea why Tara Klutz resigned? I think that she was just time for her to go, or?
Yeah, I've been on the road with Tara on a couple things, and I think she is just tired. I mean, it's working, being one of the 5 elected officials over there, it's tough. And when the demands on your private time are huge, and demands on your business time are huge. So she'd been doing it a while. I just think maybe she was a little burnt out, but I don't know that for a fact. I haven't talked to her about it why, but I mean, she did a heck of a good job, and I like the fact that she changed everything to comptroller. That makes more sense for that position.
I don't think anybody knows what that is, but I agree with you. It seems more auditor.
She does all the billing and pays all the bills.
Yeah, it's the other words are bad. So go ahead, Tiffany. I'll let you.
Yeah, I loved your comments about Tara. I think she's been a wonderful public servant. She's sacrificed a lot, her time, she has children. And then I think also too, when you're in the public sector, you do miss out on the opportunity to really capitalize and commoditize your skill set. So I hope that she ends up with a really wonderful job and that she's able to really make a lot of money. She's a very hardworking, industrious woman.
Yeah, she's got a job already. I forget where she's going, but I think she'll do just fine.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about her. She's pretty decent. So, all right. Well, speaking of Democrats, with Brad, what do you think about the elections and all that? Now, I know you're up in Anderson, and today's sort of local here in Indianapolis, but you're looking at it from afar. What do you see?
Oh yeah, no.
More catalytic converters to come get.
No, not my friends. No, how do you I guess how are like the cities predominantly Democrat then, and rural areas are still conservative more? Like how John's question was like, are they gonna ever flip back? And it's like oh my gosh, totally. I could see it happening within, but it's funny, I think some people see it going both ways too. Like I see it going more red, or possibly in the city, because I don't know how much more blue it could go, just from afar.
Hold my beer.
Well,
that's like it's if it's I guess my issue is like with always is with voter turnout. Like regardless of like what side you are on, how do you, when you're running a campaign or 14 campaigns, how do you even factor in the voters?
Well, the problem is, like in certain markets, like up in Frankfurt, none of my mayors, by the way, none of my mayors' campaigns had any Democrat opponents. We blew them up. We blew everybody out of the water in the primary. We raised so much money and basically scared any Democrats from running. So it's can the city be flipped? Absolutely. Let's take a look at Kokomo. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, Kokomo was probably the most Democrat union city in the Midwest. Maybe not as Democrat as Indianapolis, but if you look at Kokomo, you look at the UAW, you look at the Teamsters, you look at how powerful the union was there. Well, you had a mayor up there, Goodnight, who basically destroyed the city. When he took over, I don't know, 12, 16 years ago, they had 132 cops. When he left, they had 78. He hated cops. That's just the bottom line. So literally 5 years ago, the Republicans held, out of the 41 elected seats in Howard County, Republicans held 3. That's how big the Democrats were there. Today, the Democrats hold 1. We've literally flipped the entire county on its butt, where we're holding actually, I lied. There's 2 now. There's 2 Democrats and the rest are Republicans. I mean, we had a mayor who got a 79%. I mean, that's unheard of. But we did everything right. We promised more law enforcement, we delivered. We promised more fire, we delivered. We promised better roads. And if you look at Kokomo today, they have $6 billion, as in billion, dollars of infrastructure of new EV battery plants being built. They've got 3,200 new jobs. New jobs. Now, there's not another city in America, guys, that has that kind of building and jobs growing. We've got 400 families moving to Kokomo from Korea. So, to go back to your question, yeah, it could happen, but it's got to be under extreme circumstances. And somebody said about the city, can you cuss on this or is not?
Yeah, you can cuss. I'll edit it out.
Okay. I mean, Indianapolis has turned into a shithole. I mean, I lived downtown for years, and New Year's Eve, I'm sitting there listening to machine gun fire, automatic fire. Is that a cat? Okay.
Yeah, that's bad luck.
Oh, yeah, that's my cat. Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, it's going to be a while before our city goes under. The mayor is trying his best, but here's the big problem, guys, and you got to all remember. Look what happened to Baltimore. Look what happened in Philadelphia. People are leaving downtown. The white professional is leaving downtown. Once the majority of them leave downtown, guess what happens? The tax base goes in the shitter, and there's no money to do anything with. So then it gets a lot worse when there's no tax base. So we're going to have that to deal with in the near future.
Small.
I'm sorry?
You know Mark Small?
Yeah.
Like that was just that was very pessimistic and depressing. Mark Smallish.
Mark and I don't get along on what day it is, but okay.
Really?
I mean, it's
accurate portrayal of what will happen.
I'm dealing with realities. I mean,
yeah, like no, that's. I mean, I don't know how else to. Like it's eerie.
Well, but it can't happen. But I'm more disturbed. But we lost Evansville, we lost Terre Haute, we lost Lawrence. What else did we lose? We lost
Lawrence went. Actually, Anderson's mayor is Democrat, but the council is all Republican.
Well, we lost those city elections that we shouldn't have lost. Okay, as far as mayorals. But I mean, we still have, I don't know, 78 mayors, Republicans by far. But you've got Democrats running Evansville now. So but in all fairness, look what the mayor in Fort Wayne has done. I mean, he would not have gotten elected if he didn't have Republican crossover vote, okay? I mean, he's done a good job up there, and the Republicans know it, and he's a tough guy to beat. And I'm trying to remember his name right now, but
Mayor Henry.
yeah, I'm sorry. So, I mean, he's an awesome guy. And
Why did we lose Lawrence?
Well, oh, man. I have no idea. I mean, other than the fight between Hogsett and Shreve, I mean, it probably boiled over because Republicans had good candidates. I haven't spent that much time looking at that race, but we shouldn't have lost it because the previous mayor was doing a good job up there. I mean, Lawrence was kind of on a comeback, right? I mean, it's still not a safe place to live, but it was coming back.
Yep. Well, we're going to get to Lucy. I lost him. How do you get over there? That was interesting right there. It's like playing the Lucy's new computer is what the problem is. Lucy, fire that new computer up and get a question in here. Then we're going to do small talk. Since Brad reminded me of Mark Small, we'll put this in here. I have no idea what he's going to talk about tonight, but hopefully it's okay.
Well, Blair, I'm the Libertarian. I've run for United States Senate twice, so you might have seen me run. I sorely needed your help, but of course I need the budget in order to hire somebody like you. So my question for you is, off the cuff, what do you think it would take dollar-wise to run a successful Libertarian campaign for mayor? And let's just say it's mayor of Salem, Indiana, because I'm in Washington County. What do you think I would need to raise in order to actually overcome the Republicans and the graft?
Well, you're not gonna overcome the Republicans in Washington. I mean, down there. I mean, it's just. I mean, that's Aaron Houchin territory. So I know Salem very well. Almost wrecked my motorcycle on the square one day there. So I
You're
know
probably taking a sharp left for the donuts, right?
yeah. So for a city like Salem, you could probably get away with 50,000.
Really? You think that even a libertarian? Do you think I could? I mean, we've got some good door knocking libertarians down here.
Well, you want to get into the libertarian thing? I'd be glad to, because I'm
would
in
love
the lead.
to.
I read. You familiar with the Advocates for Self-Government?
Yes, and my friend Brett Bittner used to run it.
I ran that with Chris Spangle.
No way. So that's why I remembered your name even beyond this.
So
okay,
I'm very familiar
what
with
we gotta
libertarians, and Mark Rutherford is a dear friend of mine. So
Mine too.
I know libertarian. I mean, listen. God bless libertarians.
Here we go. Bless their hearts.
I mean,
it's like before we chop off your knees.
I've never seen 14 people in a room argue about what day it is, and that's libertarians. I mean, they're usually very smart people. They think but they argue with each other all the time, and they can't get out of their own way. They really, I mean, in my opinion, I don't even know that they're a legitimate political party in most of the country. It's too bad they're not, because if you look at the Republican baseline, most Republicans have very big libertarian streaks to their campaigns.
That's a good point. They try and differentiate themselves and say we're for liberty, but then they don't actually say where they got their ideas from. We're lucky to be here in Indiana with Evan McMahon as our state chair, because it really puts us in the top 3 states for the Libertarian Party in the whole country. We are exceptional in Indiana.
He's the only dude I know that has the state of Indiana symbol tattooed on his arm. So
I don't love this place that much.
Dedicated.
I know Evan. Evan's a great guy. Good young man.
Wow, that's love.
He's my buddy.
Well, we got out of that segment pretty good.
Oh no, there's more. To take over Salem. Is there a better city for me to take over? Yeah, I'm willing to move.
How about Gary? How about Gary? I pretty much get you elected, Gary. How's that?
I'm from up there, Blair. I'm from Griffith. I'm
from the region.
Yeah.
We've
originally.
got some great libertarians up in the region. In fact,
Really
if I
do.
were gonna say a libertarian for up there that should be elected mayor, it would be Donna Dunn, who is our House representative candidate up there. She worked for the railroad. Man, she's a WM. She's a Marine. So if anybody could get Gary under control, it would be
What
Donna.
was the libertarian guy's name that ran for governor? Rain.
Rainwater.
Don
He's gonna,
Rainwater.
he's going to run again, I believe.
He's going to be, yeah, he'll likely be our candidate next time. We've got a couple of contenders that they're not really contenders. Don will get
Okay.
it.
I've heard him speak a couple times. He's pretty angry. So, I mean,
Yeah, he
he's
wants to-
smart guy. He's smart dude. I listen to him. He's smart. He knows what he's talking about. That's for sure.
Why is he
Yep.
angry?
I love him against Holcomb because they were both Navy veterans, and because Don Rainwater had actually worked in the real world, whereas
Yeah.
Holcomb had just gone from one government job to another.
I guess, my feeling on the whole libertarian thing is, and I've had long conversation with Mark Rutherford on this. Libertarians, they want to go to Congress, their first race. And Republicans do this too, but it doesn't seem like the Libertarian Party has been willing to work up the ladder, start on school boards, start on town election boards, start at ground level. They want to be mayor, they want to be Congress, and they want to be this and that when they need to work themselves into the system. You work yourself into the system, and what's the guy's name over there? Morrell.
Walt Morrell in Henry County.
Yeah, I mean, they need to work themselves on up the ladder. I mean, instead of going for everything all at once. Donald Rainwater would have made a great legislator for the state of Indiana. Why isn't he doing that?
He did great in his mayoral race in Westfield. Which is the previous race, and he did an amazing job. But it's funny because I spoke with Evan today, and I said, I'm going to ask you a question on this. This is I think this is a risky question for me to ask live on the air. But here's my question. I was talking to Evan. I'm like, I've ran for Senate twice, and I'm a two-time loser there, right? They totally outspent me by tens of millions of dollars. But what if I did run for school board? I've got kids in the school here. What if I ran for school board? But would it be horrifying if I lost? Like, would somebody say, well, if you can't even win school board, why are you trying for Senate next
Keep
time?
taking losses, Lucy.
And here's what I would tell you. There has been one mayor in the state of Indiana that started off on the school board election who became the United States Senator. You know who that was?
Mike Braun.
No. Dick Lugar. Dick Lugar started off on school board, ran for mayor of Indianapolis, and then went to the United States Senate.
Mike Braun was on school board. Mike Braun was on.
I think he would be another one. Yeah, I agree. Because
Yeah,
I've heard him.
But he wasn't a mayor. But he wasn't a mayor.
Oh, he
He
wasn't
wasn't a mayor.
He was a state senator.
Wow, there's so many boxes that we need
Was
to
he?
fill
No,
in.
he was a state rep.
Oh, he was a state rep and then United States senator. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I made me so mad when I was running against him because it's like, I'm an outsider. I'm an outsider. I'm like, dude, you were in the state.
Lucy,
He
I
meant
think
he was outside of his house when he was talking.
school board could be really good because they say school board races are supposed to be nonpartisan. And if you're there to do what's best for children, and if you have children in the school system, it's a no-brainer. I mean, you bring a wonderful skill set, perspective on the issues. You're smart, you're hardworking. You've been through other campaigns. And then, I love what Blair was saying about like get into the system. And then it's like, oh, Lucy's here on school board and she just happens to be a libertarian. But based on her voting history and what she's done, this is what this means. And I think that would be great for you. But Blair, kind of going back to what you're saying about these people who show up and they want to run for, governor, or they want to run for Congress on their very first race. What do you say when you're with candidates like that, or you meet candidates like that?
I bet one yesterday that I turned down. I mean, it's you got to walk before you run, and I just give them the realities of the situation. I mean, look, the problem is like up in the 5th district, we've got this Sid Mahat who doesn't even live in the district, and because he's rich, he's going to try to buy a seat to the Congress. I mean, Trey Hollingsworth bought his seat to the Congress. He didn't even know what a precinct committee one was. So there's a trend out there right now, except for Jim Banks, because Jim isn't wealthy, but there's a trend out there right now, Doden, what's his name?
Chambers.
Chambers, who's in deep shit, by the way, and then Biden, and then Braun. I mean, they all could, they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're just going to try to buy this election. And, they're going to find out that, it may not be the way it happens, because there's going to be, think about the TV we got coming up, guys. We got a presidential race coming up. We've got congressional races all over the state, right? Especially in the 5th and the 3rd. And we've got House races, Senate races in Indiana. We've got all these races. There's going to be major brand confusion going on. Okay, is this guy running for Congress? Is this guy running for Senate? We're going to have all these races going on. And all we're going to be seeing starting January 1st is nothing but TV commercials. And there's going to be major, what I call brand confusion of the people running. If you go back to the Braun race, when Braun beat Messer and Rokita, one of the reasons why Braun won is because people couldn't tell the difference between Rokita and Messer. They looked alike, they talked alike, they acted alike, they were both from Congress. So there was brand confusion there. And I think that's what's going to happen coming up in this cycle.
I think we had that in the mayor's race as well. I think that I've heard a lot of people talk about, hey, it's the same guy. And he really didn't differentiate himself from.
And let me go back to your Senate race for a quick second. Jack Sandlin, who was my dear friend who passed away, Senator Sandlin, he beat the slate in Marion County. We beat the slate. Ran against Jefferson Shreve. Jefferson ran against us. Jefferson spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. Senator Sandlin spent $68,000. Jefferson won Marion County by 1 vote, but he lost Johnson County by 490 votes because he didn't spend any time down there. So is it about the money? 90% of the time it's about the money, but can it happen? Sure, but don't give up. I mean, Mike Pence lost his first 3 races, okay? So
there's hope for us.
There's hope for everybody.
I'm slated to run the whole country and uphold actual law when the president may ask me to, not uphold constitutional law. I can do it anyway.
Right. So.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and play small talk, and I literally didn't even edit this, so I don't know I'm just going to play it, and we'll see what he's got. I have no idea.
Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Small Talk. I'm going to talk about the municipal elections that occurred last week here in Marion County in Indianapolis, where we re-elected the mayor, re-elected a bunch of people in city county council. What is it they mainly do? Well, a big chunk of what they do has to do with developers. People want to build someplace, that's groovy. Don't call it free market here in Indianapolis. We started out giving them incentives. Now we give them land and cash, and we just really hope they won't go away and we can keep them here. As a consequence of that, for example, I've got a photograph here on the screen of Broad Ripple Village. This was a village once upon a time. Even 12, 13 years ago, their developers were saying in a public gathering, we've been talking to people here and we want a wow factor of the village. We want to use it to market things. And people were kind of aghast at that because that's not what people who lived here necessarily wanted. So they went ahead with their wow factor. They put a business building, an office building in what was green space in Broad Ripple Park. And they really didn't pay any attention to what anybody said because they don't have any reason to. Developers build. You have a contract for them to go under and they can get a check, they'll do it. That's their job. So what do we have now? We have downtown Broad Ripple, if you could call it that, was ripped up the last year and a half while they put in streets and re-put in streets. I was surprised that they didn't just wait until all the local businesses had gone out to say it's done. So what we have to look at in the future is urban planning. And if you foam at the mouth and say socialism, when somebody says urban planning, get over it. This isn't free market. What they'll keep doing is finding a new part of the city to develop in as people can't understand why housing from all these really ugly buildings is falling apart and that those buildings haven't been there for that long. We really need to change our habits. Mark Small. Small talk. Peace.
No cats
Yeah,
in the
I would usually edit that little bit part out there, but yeah, Broad Ripple's a train wreck. I mean, the businesses are ready to revolt because they're tearing up the street. They can't get it done on time, and they built a couple of ugly buildings up there. So Broad Ripple is not the same old Broad Ripple, and you
They
you
just had a
wonder.
guy shot there last night.
Oh yeah, I mean
Connor's
it's
Pub.
just I guess it was the security guard. They asked him to leave, and he said, "I ain't leaving." Then they just shoot him up. So fun times. We've got some people in the audience here that want to talk more about the Chambers thing. What's up with here we go. Is it IEDC? Is he in trouble with that, or why is Mr. Chambers having issues?
Well, it's all about the LEAP program and the water deal. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that, where they decided that they were going to put all these big buildings from Lilly in Lebanon, but lo and behold, they didn't have enough water. So all of a sudden, they decided to go up to Tippecanoe and steal all the people's water up there and pump it all the way down to Lebanon, going through all those counties, Boone County and all that. And there was a deal that was put together by Chambers and IEDC, which has turned into the biggest cluster. I don't know if you saw the governor made some comments on it today. IFA has taken over now because it's a mess. You've got farmers having their land literally taken from them. There's not going to be enough water. I mean, Purdue University won't have water because Chambers and his group decided that his buddies needed to make money in Lebanon with the big projects there. Problem is, they've already started on the projects, but there's been major backlash from everybody around the state, and the governor's even getting involved now. But this has potential to really hurt him. Okay, just like the Black Lives Matter and the cop thing with Braun, that's got tremendous potential to hurt him. So, you don't go on national TV and say you support Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, that's sometimes you'll get in trouble, and we've had that on our show. We've had people say things on our show that contradicted what they said later, and comes back to haunt them.
Right.
I guess
Ron said that he supports BLM. I'll Google it. When did he say that?
It was with Sean Hannity. He went on, and that's the same night that the police thing for immunity. He didn't qualified immunity, but he went on saying he supported Black Lives Matter, and here we are today. Black Lives Matter is supporting Hamas. So how's that going to work out for him? Okay, not well. So, but the good thing is, for him, he's got enough money he can probably buy his way out of it.
Yeah, he seems to be the front runner. Would you say that Senator Braun is the front runner at this point for the governor?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, well, do tell.
Not that I'm privy to any polling, but
no, you wouldn't be.
It's a close race between he and Suzanne Crouch, with Suzanne having a slight lead, and Suzanne is just raising money like crazy. She's got her signatures, or close to her signatures. She's the only one. I mean, the other three guys bought their signatures. So does anybody have a calculator there?
I can figure it out.
Take 9,000 times $15.
Oh, we're going to be figuring this out. Okay. 9,000 times $15 equals
135,000.
135K.
That's how much those three guys, Doden, Chambers, and Braun, are paying to have the signatures purchased. They're paying.
Dang it! I signed for free.
Well, I know, but they're paying they bring these kids in, and they do it all over. They bust these kids in, pay them $15 per signature. Now, you got to have 500 signatures in each congressional district, right? But you always want to get 1,000 signatures because I'll sit there and throw, if I don't like the way a name looks, or if I don't like the way a T's crossed, I'll throw your signature out. So you got to have 1,000 signatures to get 500. So that's 9,000. So they're paying a minimum of $135,000 to get signatures. Curtis Hill and Suzanne Crouch, from my understanding, are the only two that haven't done that.
Yeah, I just turned in 35 for Curtis Hill today. So, and I didn't get any money. I'm going to have to demand money for that.
Well,
But you talked.
Because it's like, you go to different events and you see these kids with their clipboards, and I'm kind of like, I got to understand why they're so excited and motivated, but $15 a signature, that's pretty lucrative.
That's
Absolutely.
Good. So what about Riddenhauer? Yeah.
Who?
Riddenhauer. What about Riddenhauer? Do you think she's going to get in? I mean, I hear
don't,
in.
I've heard the name. Who? I've heard her. Is it her?
Yeah, it's a her, and she is a faith-based person. I think a lot of people are trying to get her run. I've heard she's a nice person. I've reached out to her to be on the show, and she said, yeah, but we haven't made a date on it, but I'm not sure. Obviously,
what's she running for? Governor?
Governor. Yeah, that's what they're trying to get her to do. So I'm sort of leaning towards it's almost a rumor more than it is real. But
I think I saw her out at the gun show. I thought, or she had a booth out at the gun show, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she might be the gun show. Tiffany, not that gun show. Okay. All right. Hey, you were talking about signatures. So I'm going to bring this up here. This is going to be sort of something different here. So on election day, as many people might know, my wife ran for city council and narrowly lost at the very last waning hour of the thing. But what we experienced on the day was this. I'm going to put this up here. This is, as you can see, it says no campaigning beyond this point. Now check out the people that are in there. Okay, let's look at that. Now this is her opponent's mom and grandma, and that guy in the yellow is the poll worker, and they refused to leave. And then here we got this. This is actually one of his supporters. And he's talking about, hey, your folks at the Apostolic Life Church are almost completely blocking the entryway inside the doors. And even as a Democrat, it was pretty threatening way to go to try to vote. So we've had, and our poll worker that was there filed a complaint. And unfortunately for them, she used to be an insurance fraud claim adjuster. So she's got 8x10 photo glossy pictures and all these explanations of all of the nonsense that went on there that day. And we got like 6 people that have filed complaints. Do you think that the election board is going to take this up? I mean, we just want it to go on the record of this thing. We're not looking to overturn an election or whatever. Do you think the election board is going to take this up and look at it?
Probably not. I mean, they might. I would have called the police.
Well, we didn't know
they
what
broke
to
the
do.
law. I would have called the police. And this first call I would have made is to all the TV stations. They would have come out and covered that in a heartbeat. They love that kind of crap.
Yeah, well, we called the election board person. We called the attorney that was supposed to be watching, and it took us 3 hours to finally get them out. And then once they got out, they were like mad as hornets. So that's just my thing, but they're so particular on these signatures.
Right.
And as you know, Blair, I ran for mayor and as an independent, I got a ton of signatures.
Right.
And they just kept throwing signatures out till I was not on the ballot. So that's my question is like, okay, they're so concerned with signatures. You brought that up. That will they be concerned with this type of thing? We'll see. I mean, when the complaints have been filed, and we'll see, their next meeting would warrant maybe looking at that, but I don't know. We'll see. What happens.
Sorry you had to go through that. That's just the dirty underbelly of politics, unfortunately. I'm sorry
and I don't know. And I don't know how much it even helped. Just to me, it was like be a turnoff if I was undecided and his people were in there tripping as he went in, it might be problems. But
right.
And then one of their other campaign workers accosted Jason Hammer and Nigel on WIBC, and that didn't work out well for him because Hammer let him up on his show that day.
Yeah.
And Jason filed a complaint with the election board.
Okay, good. If there's that many complaints, the election board, I can't remember. It's 2 Democrats and 1 Republican, or
we have Republican side, and I don't know who the Democrat is, but actually I think the election board, whoever the county, it's a county not treasurer, recorder. No, I don't. It's one of the county people, the clerk,
Right.
exactly. The clerk is on that. And so I think that's a different person now.
Well, guess what party the county clerk belongs to?
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Surprise.
Yeah, it's like it's a surprise. So we threw that out. I just wanted to throw that out there. We're going to probably do another show on that later. Hopefully, we'll have an update on what happens with the board. And we also had some state complaints too. So, but I think on the state complaint they say, "Did you take this up with the county?" And then we said yes. So hopefully they'll look at that and say, we better do something because maybe somebody else will later. But we'll see. Stay tuned for that. It's ongoing saga. So let's see. Lucy, do you got another question?
No, I'm just really giving the school board thing. I checked it while we were talking there.
Yay!
And,
Can I tell you? I will tell you this. I've been involved in some vile campaigns, but there is nothing more vile than school board races. They are evil because they get very personal because everybody knows everybody that's running, and they get very personal. And they can be, I mean, look what happened up in Hamilton County. Look what happened over in Hendricks County. I mean,
this is not some suburban cupcake making mom. This is Lucy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you don't know who my neighbors are. My neighbors.
I'm not worried about you. I'm just telling you, be prepared because at that level, they know everything that's out there, and they can get pretty crazy. Okay.
I'm sure it would be a lot of personal attacks,
but they're fun. But they're fun because you're dealing with real issues, right?
Yeah, and the real issues that affect my kids, because I've got a 6th grader. She'll be a 7th grader next fall. So I've still got 6 more years in the school district, and my township is up next year.
Right. Well, if you look over in Hendricks County, Ann Englehart, different spelling, she's running for state senate, and she's president of the school board. Well, see, she worked her way up the ladder. See, and everybody in Hendricks County knows her. So that's why I say, and then work your way on up. She's also the county chair. But
yeah, well, unfortunately, when you're my age, working your way up is not an option. So, and plus, it is not the era of the old white dude, as most people would probably know that. So it's not.
We're really going to go the age thing here. We're really going to.
Yeah, well,
we're really going to talk
age
about
discrimination
here.
Yeah, age discrimination's getting old. So that's what I say about that. So let's run I'll run the numbers on this.
Black, like Creed on The Office. Dye your hair black.
Oh yeah, that would be. If you call me Johnny Cash, I have the gray. That's a bad idea, Tiffany. I will not do that. And let's do the survey question here on the Twitter. We have let's see. I'll read the question as it is. Is Marion County, Indianapolis, has lost to the Democrats consistently? They've won 60% over the Republicans, 40%. Can the GOP ever come back from and be competitive? And it's like 8% yes, 69 no, 23 not sure. And then if we look at the poll on people over politics, we have 15% yes, 39 no, and a whopping 42% maybe, and 1 or 4% not sure. So it looks like people on Facebook are more optimistic than the people on Twitter. Yes, Tiffany.
So I'm Blair. I'm excited to get your opinion about this in terms of messaging. So when we think about like Democrat versus Republican, we get into pretty much a win-lose kind of thing, and people want to win. So of course they're going to vote for their party. But when it comes to winning Indianapolis, I think that the message has to be around the vision. Like, is this city everything that you want it to be? Is this the place you want to live and raise a family? Are you safe here? Are you prosperous here? Is this a community that you want to raise your kids in? And I think until you get beyond the parties and really start talking about the quality of life and the quality of space that people have in Indianapolis, that in my opinion, is what will get people to vote beyond their party. But Blair, based on your expertise, what would it take for people to step outside of their parties to vote for a better Indianapolis?
Literally nuclear holocaust. I mean, you're not going to beat the Democrats at their game. I mean, it wasn't money that won that election. It was Joe Hogsett giving every church in the city new sidewalks, new playground equipment. Gee, we've got a little bit of asphalt left over. Let's do your parking lot for your church. Handing out money to civic groups. Joe showing up at every event, things that the Republicans can't do. So the Democrats are masterful at manipulating the system internally, making sure everybody gets something for free. And that's basically what Joe did, with all the churches, with all the civic organizations. He made sure that they were well taken care of. So what's going to happen? The pastor's going to get up in front of church and say, look at all the wonderful things Joe did for us. Unfortunately, the Republicans are not very good at it. Have you all seen the city county building on Sundays after church during election season? Go down there to city county building and you'll see buses circling the entire city county building. Those are buses that the buses pick up the church members at their church after services. They take them in, they vote at the city county building. Then when they're done there, they go down to the country kitchen. They get their chicken dinner and everything to go. They get back on the bus and they take them back to their church. They've been doing this for generations. And guess what? It works. They've got the system down. Go down and watch it sometime. It's really an incredible sight. But they've been doing it for years and it works. So
Yep.
It's not necessarily about money, but you also got to understand that the Democrats are really good at playing this game and working the public.
Yep.
Does
So we got
that
a
answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. I learned something. Thank you.
So we got one from Jim Sullivan. Can we get rid of straight ticket line voting? What do you think, Blair? So straight ticket. What do you think?
Hey Jim, how are you? If I could wave a magic wand and get rid of straight ticket voting, I would love it. My personal reason for doing it is I think we need to force people to educate themselves on the individual candidates. Okay. And I think by getting rid of straight ticket voting, it's going to get rid of the tribalism that we've got going on right now. And it's going to make people actually learn something about who they're voting for instead of just, towing the party line and vote who they're told to vote for. I would be. It's not going to happen because the legislature is not going to let it happen. But I'm all in favor of getting rid of straight ticket voting.
What do you think about paper ballots? Do you think that's probably never going to happen? But what do you think about it?
Well, I know there's other states that are trying to push the paper ballots, but excuse me, if you think there's fraud with electronics, why do you start dealing with paper? I mean, it makes no sense to me.
Hanging shads.
I understand.
The thumb in the ink?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see where paper ballots are going to be these electronic voting machines are just exceptionally well put together. They don't make mistakes. Everybody says, that, Trump won the election because of voter fraud, which is just total crap. But, the paper ballots let's go back to the 1950s. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and we're a society that wants every answer in 10 seconds. So I just don't think the folks are going to wait for 2 days to find out who won.
We're an immediate gratification. Yeah, we're an immediate gratification society these days.
Yeah, that's a weird thing though, because we want it right now, but we're still fine waiting like 3 months for them to actually take charge. Like I don't know why we have to find out that night, but it's okay. We still want this guy for the next 3 months for some reason.
We wait till January 1 or the 20th if you're president to get in on that. And I think that's to give you a little time to get over the shock of actually winning. So,
Right.
You got to Google
but
the job.
what's that,
You
Tiffany?
got to Google the job.
Yeah, it's like they got to help you transition, right? It's like they have to throw you a notebook and say good luck. That's about how that goes, I think.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, hey,
Blair, where are we at with like where Ohio voted to legalize marijuana and where they voted for that? Is Indiana anywhere? Would they ever give the people that much power?
Now, remember, Blair did the commercial for
I guess just out of curiosity, because I guess I know the answer is no. Like, of course they, we're never going to get that.
We are going to get it. It's not about. I've been told by the speaker and the president pro tem that it's not about the money. So anybody that tries to say, well, we're losing money to Ohio and Kentucky and Michigan and Illinois, well, we're sitting on $8.5 billion in the bank. Illinois is $27 billion in debt. You go to Alaska, where I go a lot, there's not a pothole in Alaska. And guess why? Because the pot supports the roads and the infrastructure there. And they sell a lot of it up there. So I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a very stringent medical situation come up first, pretty much like Kentucky. And I'd say by 26, it's going to be legal. Basically, on a medical, the fact that, children don't have to go through seizures, and elderly people that are going through end of life, and listen, I had cancer. I went through 23 chemos. I would have loved, the doctor hands you a big bottle full of oxycodone. Well, what's going to happen if I take that that whole bottle? We all know. But if I had a handful of gummies to get me through all that, it would have been a lot easier. So I'm a big proponent of medical. I think I've seen what it can do for people, especially people with cancer. So, I'm seeing some of the, especially on the House side, I think it will go through this year if it could. The problem is we got some senators who equate marijuana as the same thing as fentanyl and heroin.
Yeah, I might know.
Literally.
I don't want to override your decision, but I have this magic 8-ball here.
And who are these people?
Well, we're not going to talk about them on the air right now.
They're friends of mine, so I'm.
My cat wants to know. My cat.
All right, we're going to do the magic 8-ball to settle this thing once and for all. Will we have legalized marijuana? As I see it, yes. 8-ball is spoken, and Blair Englehart spoken. It is settled. So,
Blair, I love what you said about the strict medicinal use. Being a veteran, there are just different opportunities for people to manage pain and manage anxiety and other issues. We had a guy on the show months ago who talked about microdosing. It's not about like getting high and fast times at Ridgemont High. It's not about that. It's about giving people a way to cope with their medical conditions. And a lot of things can be really debilitating. I think one of the things that can be unfortunate is that a lot of people who are making the rules have had really charmed lives, and they've not experienced the other side of night terrors, stress, pain that's unmanageable, being hooked on oxycodone, like you said. So when you don't have perspective, it's very, very hard to understand why something that contains THC might be good for people. I'm really kind of, I know Delta 8 is legal in Indiana. I just think it's really interesting that that we just don't talk more about like Delta 8 and the good that it's doing and how it's helping people as a way to transition over to medicinal marijuana.
Well, that's by design, Tiffany. Okay. We need to, the legislature just finally figured out a month or two ago that they screwed up. Okay. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between, not that I would know, but there's not a lot of difference between Delta 8 and the real stuff. I mean,
right.
And from what I understand, you can go into any one of these vape stores and buy it. So, it's technically it's legal now. The problem is Delta 8 and Delta 9 is not regulated like THC products are in other states. In Alaska, for example, every THC product has to be organic, and the markup is 185%. That's incredible. So
I got to get that.
Huh?
I got to start one of those. Actually, we have a store here in Mars Hill, a drive-through tobacco store here at Farnsworth and Holt Road. So you can get Delta 8. Yeah, they advertise it down here. So we're going to segue to the conspiracy theory here. So what is it? I hear people say, well, marijuana is not legalized because of Lilly. Lilly does not want this. I knew that would get your eyebrows perked up.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've heard rumors that Lilly has secret buildings downtown with grow rooms in them and this and that. And
Probably
if that would have been true, I would have smelled it. So I'm just saying.
my friend hydroponics out in Fortville. I mean, it's very possible that they could, but I don't know. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead. I mean,
let me add this one real quick. I know we're all, well, maybe not Brad, maybe not. Well, we're probably old enough to remember how gambling got into our state. The first they had riverboats.
I lived up there, man. Yeah.
They had to go out and cruise, and then they let them dock, and then they, it's like I call it the creep, and I think there's some weed that's called the creep too, by the way, but I don't know nothing about that. But so it seems like we're always last one to the party on this stuff. Is this very similar on the marijuana situation? Are they going to ease it?
We were the last state. We were the last state in the United States to have Sunday liquor sales. Yep. What's that tell you?
Yeah, it tells me that a lot of people were thirsty on Sunday, or they stocked up a lot on Saturday.
I mean, listen, it's going to happen. It's going to happen through attrition of senators. We've got younger senators and younger state house and state rep people coming in. Every one of them that I know is pro legalization. So I mean, it's
what is stopping it from a federal level too?
But the big deal is, guys, I work with a lot of sheriffs around the state and law enforcement agencies within mayor's offices. I don't know a single one that's busting kids or busting people for pot. Okay, I mean, I've been told by one sheriff, if you got 2 or 3 ounces in the car, we're arresting you. But if you've got, a few joints, you got a half an ounce, we're just pouring it out and you're going home. Okay. So they don't want to
pouring it out.
Yeah. They don't want to ruin people's lives for a couple joints.
Oh, because it's 23 and 1983, 1993. What? I mean, there was a time where people were getting locked up.
Yeah. And now it's, I mean, you got to have a lot of it to get locked up. Okay. Or arrested. Now.
Yes.
So Blair, have you seen any polling on what the percentage of people that would be in favor of legalizing? I know it's probably different between medical and just straight out.
No, I mean, Howie had a poll out about 6 months ago where 61% of Hoosiers believed in legalization of marijuana.
And that's just a legalization, not not on the medical side. It's even higher probably on medical.
61.5, I think.
I really like Slick Witty's question here. What's the point of voting Republican if people are going to keep bending the knee to Democrat policies?
Huh?
Try to see which one that one is.
I don't understand the question.
It was at the what's the point of voting Republican if people are going to keep bending the knee to Democrat policies like legalization of weed, I guess.
That's a Democrat policy?
I think it's more liberal than I would say if you're a conservative, I would say against it.
Really?
Against medicinal marijuana? I mean, I was a drug rep. I was a drug rep for 18 years. I mean, if there's benefit there that's going to help people, I sold medicines that caused a whole host of side effects, everything that's whispered at the end of a commercial.
I still want to know what oily stool is. I never have figured that one out.
But the thing is that, like, if something is proven to have a medicinal benefit, then it should be explored and it should be regulated. You weren't on the show, Brad, when that guy from Michigan, he was talking about microdosing. People who use marijuana medicinally, they're not sitting around like high and stoned. They're trying to achieve a level of a therapeutic level where they can function.
Right.
They don't want to be up here where they can't do anything. They're trying to mask pain, to reduce their symptoms so that they can go about their day to day. And somebody in there was talking about like driving while under the influence. I think that when you get to the point where you're using marijuana for medicinal reasons, the benefits outweigh the risk because these people are suffering.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think there's
just shut up. Thank you.
Yeah, another side of that is, working, because they do drug tests and different things. You want somebody that's, under the influence working, or how long does it get out of your, there's a lot of things that there can and can't be, that can and can't
employers
happen.
are totally within their right to drug test their employees. I think that's part of the job.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
I wouldn't expect any kind of privacy.
Yeah.
And all I would say to that is, I'll give everybody on this panel $1,000 if you can pull a newspaper article about a guy beating the crap out of his wife when he was stoned.
Well, they might have been fighting over Twinkies, but that's about it.
Okay, but I mean, my point is, you don't ever hear that. You never hear of violence when it's regarding smoking of pot. I mean, it's all alcohol related, and I'm not a drinker, but nobody talks about how crappy the world is with alcohol. So
yeah. But then also too, Blair, to your point about, like what people do, it's like, I remember when I was in healthcare, the lady was like, I was taking 14 pills a day. I was taking a handful of pills to manage my issues. And then she got on some medicinal marijuana when she was out of state, and it took her from 14 pills down to not very many. And, I think that it's like, until you understand the patient journey of some of these people, then you can say stuff like, well, that's a Democrat thing, or are we going to let them drive while they're high? If you don't understand how people are suffering, then you don't understand the benefit that it can bring to people.
That's the sad part of this whole thing. So hopefully.
And I think that's like where we all need to kind of combine forces, because I didn't mean to offend you guys when I said that it's not I didn't think it was a conservative issue.
Dude, at my age, there's not a lot you can say to offend me. Okay, so
no, but like it's I'm glad that liberals and conservatives, I feel like, can kind of combine.
But there's some things are just people issues, like. Like if it's here, it's available, it's a natural substance. If you can have a small amount of it to alleviate your pain, your issues, your PTSD, especially with our veterans. And, one of the things, even if it's legalized here in Indiana, there's a hard road for our veterans to go to get the VA to prescribe it and to recognize it. So, it's not that easy for people. And then also, I think that having something that's regulated by the FDA is very, very important, because, everything is not the same. So, I'm all for medicinal marijuana.
She's one of the 61% that's going for that. Okay, on that note, we're going to go ahead and wind this thing up. We're going to go to the conspiracy theory. So hopefully there's medical marijuana involved in the conspiracy, possibly. I think I already said something about Lilly and their conspiracies of things. So, Blair, we thank you for coming on. Are you going to stick around for the conspiracy? You got anything worked up?
I'm going to bail if you don't mind.
No, that's fine. We don't want Blair to be
early day tomorrow. And is there anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good to go. Anybody that needs a campaign winner, this is your guy right here. Look him up.
Are you at capacity?
Fun talking, man.
Yeah. My what?
Are you at capacity?
For next cycle, yeah, I'm booking 26 right now because there's no elections in 25. So I'm booking 26. I might have one slot for like a commissioner or a council race or something, but I've got, let's see, 1 state senate, 1 congressional, 7 commissioners, a couple council races, and a couple of others. So
and a partridge in a pear tree. I got you. I see it.
Congratulations! They're lucky to have you.
So
Thank you.
we thank you for coming on the show, taking some time. I know you're elderly. It's probably time for you to get back to the home or wherever you stay. I don't know what's going on there, but
Thank you.
we
I needed
appreciate
that.
it.
Okay. Thank
But
you,
I
everybody. And I enjoyed it. Everybody have a nice evening.
All right. Well, we're going to roll the, let me get, okay. Oh, look, Tiffany's out there. You haven't been on the show very much. So we're going to put the conspiracy theory. So everybody load up. Oh, well, I'll get everybody out here before I make our announcement about next week. So here you go. Get your hats.
Hey y'all, it's time for the conspiracy theory, so you better get your tinfoil hat out and let's see what's going on this week.
One of my antennas fell off. Okay, maybe I can get it fixed in time to be able to. There, that's good enough. Okay, that's good. Oh, this one's. I got to get the proper signals in. I look like Flash Gordon. That's an old
Tune
movie.
in Tokyo.
Yes. Okay. So the announcement. So next week, we're not going to have a show. I was going to have Tiffany do the thing, but I'm going to be gone or Lucy. I'm going to be gone in Florida. I'm going to hate it for you people to be up here in this 20-degree weather, but I'm going to be down basking in the sun, working on my tan, and hopefully my dry skin will go away from this tundra that we live in up here. So what's that? Yes, I got moisturizer. I took your advice from last time.
What are you using?
I'm using something Lisa's got. Maybe she can put it in the chat what it is. It's some medicated something or other stuff.
It continues to be my conspiracy theory that oftentimes people without color are told that they don't need to moisturize. The butters are there for you. Cocoa butter, shea butter,
I don't want to smell like a pina colada.
We get ashy too. Like
choose one of these natural emollients, rub it in your hands and rub it on your skin. Warm it and then rub it on your skin to prevent you from becoming dry and flaky and ashy.
I'm actually doing pretty good this year. I've had a couple flare-ups, but I backed it down with that moisturizer. I was channeling my inner Tiffany, and I'm good to go.
Like right there, like shea butter, cocoa butter. I need you to use something that's just a little teeny bit oily and rub it in. And you got to do it every day when you get out of the shower.
I know, every day.
That dry, and then just moisturize. It's the biggest conspiracy theory ever when white men are led to think that they don't need to moisturize.
Yeah, well, I think we're just more lazy than thinking. If you didn't know, white men these days. So next week, back to my announcement before I forget. Next week, I have compiled the best of the conspiracy theories. So this is going to be really good because I was able to string together some Ed Liptrap things, and it all culminates with his final appearance. But we have some good ones on there of that. So what'll happen is I'm going to run the show that will go on channel 40 that next Monday. So we'll have 28 and a half minutes of conspiracy theory. Cool. And you guys get a week off, and I'll even give you a week off with pay. In fact, you've done so well, you get vacation pay and double pay in time and a half, which is all extra on top of what you're getting. Holiday pay, all that stuff. I mean,
and I told Lucy she shouldn't have been saying all that stuff about you.
I know. Well, she got a new computer, so that sort of evened it out
with her proceeds.
Yeah, she's probably going to be talking about who's the guy that Bill Gates is the window guys, right? Yeah, you bought another computer, you're going to put Windows on it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's already on here. I'm doomed. He's probably listening to us right now.
Yeah, he's really Windows.
So this is so funny. I was with Michaela, and she was like, "Mom, I just really want a camera. I feel like if I had a camera, I would be more intentional about the pictures that I took." And I was like, "Who's the guy from Apple?" I was like, Steve Jobs. He died trying to put a camera on your phone. For the love of God, use your camera phone. That is his legacy. Just use your camera phone. You don't.
Tiffany, check out that. Lisa says I have too many choices. She even makes her own kind of moisturizer stuff that's made out of something.
I want some.
She'll give you some. I'm
gonna shout out to my favorite place, and I need to tell them they need to support us and be a sponsor. But goat milk stuff. which is
What?
exit 29. So you just go south on 65 to exit 29. Hang a right at the stoplight, and it's a family-owned business, a whole bunch of homeschoolers, and it's agritourism. So, you can go get like a quarter's worth of granola or oats or whatever out of the little machine. They've got homemade gelato. They have shampoo bars, they have moisturizer bars, and they have everything that you can think of made out of goat milk for the body. Shea butters and everything, cocoa butters, coconut oil based, non-coconut oil based. Lots of
I'm
good
glad.
stuff.
I'm
And
glad
you
Brad,
get
y'all
to
are.
watch the little you
fries?
get to watch them.
What's that?
You
Brad,
get
do
to
you
watch the
like
goats. Oh, sorry,
Oh,
Tim.
absolutely. Yeah. I have a pump of shea butter, I think. The Vaseline
What
for men.
is shea butter? Does it come from Shea Stadium out in New York? Is that
No,
where
it
it
comes from
comes?
Africa.
It smells nice
Africa.
though, kind of beachy, you know.
Mm.
So
Just
Yeah.
that and cocoa butter, and you definitely smell like a pina colada. Okay, I got you.
yeah.
I got you.
It's a good It's a nice
All
after
right.
shower kind of lotion.
Yeah.
I think that we need to normalize men using lotion on
Yeah.
on their
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I
I don't
have
know.
my,
We'll
antlers.
start a lotion club for men. That's what
right.
we make a fortune
So
on it.
shout
So
out to Lisa. I saw her comment on having done the wedding flowers down there. I'll tell you, like the coolest thing that is out of my budget that goat milk stuff has is they breed very, very special dogs. They breed Bernese Mountain Dogs and Great Pyrenees. And sometimes they
those are
breed them
big
together.
dogs.
So you have a Great Bernese. And so those are livestock guardian dogs that are incredibly smart. They'll chase off the wolves and the coyotes. And if you train them correctly, they won't eat your chickens.
Well,
So just having them on your
we can
property.
get one to run for school board in Salem, and you can guard the
You
kids.
should run, Lucy.
I
Run.
don't know. I just looked it up while we were all talking, and it's up in 2024. So I don't know if I can,
Oh yeah, we got it. I would
Plenty of
donate
time.
$500. I'd donate $500 if you
Like, you
run.
don't even have to
All
do
right.
the primary. It's all about the general.
Yeah, it is. I can campaign from beginning to end without
Yeah,
having to worry about it since I'm
right over
libertarian.
the summer.
So I'm gonna hold that spot in my brain and think about how can I actually serve. What are the challenges that are facing my kids and what are the challenges facing the other kids? I got to give a shout out to our West Washington School District because they do incredible things. We got less than 900 kids right now, or about 900 from preschool all the way to 12th grade.
Wow,
And for those who want to get their CDL license as a senior, they can actually graduate with their
that's
CDL.
that's great. Chuck Goodrich spoke at our Fisher's GOP meeting tonight, and he just talked about how important it is for some kids to graduate with a credential. I mean, that's
Yes.
amazing. That's life-changing for a lot of folks.
Yeah, I heard his campaign is going to be electric. The only people that only know that he was president of Gaylord Electric would laugh at that joke.
President,
So
CEO, owner, like, yeah.
yeah, he's that's a big outfit. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of current going through there. So
He ought to amp up his next
I thought it
campaign.
would get somebody to laugh. What's that?
He ought to amp up his next campaign.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Oh my
I
God.
think
Maybe he could drive a Chevy Volt
we should
while he
do a
does it.
panel discussion.
These are just
We should
okay.
do a panel discussion.
Okay.
But hey,
I'm
it might be an icebreaker. Never mind. This has gone on long enough. It's
I'm the only one who had a conspiracy theory. Lucy, what do you have?
yeah, Lucy, what do you got?
Maybe the conspiracy theory is whether or not I run for, school board. But so let's go with the conspiracy theory on my new computer, since we know that Bill Gates, is already on my computer. I think he tracked me down. I think he somehow like whispered in my husband's ear to get a PC.
Oh, so
So
he was
we kept
probably
Windows
talking
10.
about it. He was probably talking. Have you ever been? I was talking about getting a chainsaw, and the next thing I know is I got 3 ads on my
Oh, yeah.
Facebook and my phone. It's like, which I don't
Everybody's
mind.
listening all the time.
I don't mind
Everybody's
them.
listening
I
all
don't
the
mind
time.
if they listen. They just can't get offended. That's all.
I feel like there's a fight in the comments.
What's that? Oh, there is.
Oh, there's totally a
I don't
fight.
It
know.
is. It's totally going. And this one goes on People Over Politics. If you want to, actually, your buddy Rusk. What was the guy Rusk? That was.
I mean, they are going at it. And
Ted Rusk.
I feel like
Rusk
we're in like the cafeteria, and there's like, hey, like I know that we're having pizza today, but there's a
There's a
course.
food fight going on. Well, this William and Ted Rusk, they go at it on people over
William and
politics.
Slick
Oh
Witty.
well, yeah, he'll get in it too. So and also Jerry Rowe. There's that combination. I know them, and I'm sure that they'll be on there. But it is interesting to see the different sides of things. But yeah, if you want to get
my
into
conspiracy theory, my conspiracy theory is like my cat is like the most freaked out. I feel like my cat thinks like this is a demonic thing for it, and there's like voices that are living inside this little box inside our apartment. So,
I think your cat is drawn to the sound of my voice.
Now your cat will be the most famous person on this show after this, so don't worry. Because
sure.
Mark Small's cats were famous till they weren't. Look,
he's been going nuts.
Kitty.
What's your cat's name?
Barley.
Barley. Oh,
Barley.
the barley water.
On your butt.
A lot
I'm
of
surprised
barleys.
it wouldn't be. It wasn't
barleys
fish
up
or something like that.
famous, I tell you.
You should have named
no.
it bluegill.
Actually, no.
So what did you have a conspiracy theory? Oh, the cat. The cat is actually a Martian. It's like Men in Black. Remember Men in Black where the cat had the Martian thing? Yeah, that's your cat right there.
What about the Marvel Universe and the cat? The cat and Joe Fury?
Oh yeah, Nick Fury, the one that actually like made him get the eye patch.
All right, let's see if I can make up something here. On the
make something up
theory.
because mine is so lame. Bill Gates is going to try and stop me from running for school board because he's already trying to teach kids what to think, not how to think.
You're gonna start a computer program called Doors. So he's gonna come after you. That's that could be a pretty good one.
Flurkins, exactly. Flurkins.
What's Flurkins?
The cat. They're not really cats. They're Flurkins.
Okay.
And Men in Black.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, boy, he watched that movie way better. I must have been dozing off on that part of it. So let's see. I don't think I have a conspiracy. My conspiracy is that I'm going to be flying Spirit Airlines tomorrow, and my flight will be canceled.
Oh, I have a too.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
So did a lot of driving over the break and listened to Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me.
Oh, I love Britney.
God, no, you didn't.
And first off, I would encourage people to listen to it.
Shizzle.
And right. And at the end of it, I feel like I need to get on her Instagram and just apologize for ever consuming any negative media about her in the form of like a magazine, a Facebook post. She has been so unfairly treated by the world. And I think that that's something that we need to address. Maybe, John, as we talk about different topics, I think we need to talk about like negativity and hate and trying to shame people, because there are consequences. And when you listen to this book, you hear about how she's a person, a woman, a performer, a delicate person. And these things happen to her. And then the media jumps in and the paparazzi jumps in. And they just kept hurting her and beating her down, and just the pain that causes. And it's not okay.
All right. Well, hey, Tiffany, since you brought that up, I just downloaded a little thing here. Let's put this up here. This is how to define Marxism in one single sentence. Hate the man who is better off than you are. So in Britney's case, there are people that were jealous of her. Never under any circumstances admit that, in this case, her success may be due to her own efforts, to productive contributions she has made to the whole community, to the music industry. Always attribute her success to the exploitation and cheating and more or less open robbery of others, stealing their ticket prices and whatnot. Never under any circumstances admit that your own life is a failure, to be owning your own weakness, or that your failure of anyone else may be due to his or her own defects, laziness, incompetence, or improvidence or stupidity. Or that is Marxism or this show. I don't know which that is, but it is one of those.
So true. And it's like, you get to the point where the paparazzi was hounding her. And it's funny because you don't see women, like running around with cameras, taking a picture of somebody in a grocery store in sweatpants because we get it. And it's like, of course I'm in sweatpants. Why would I dress up to go to the grocery store? But I do think that we just need to take a step back and understand how we treat people. And are we being kind? Are we being thoughtful? Are we being fair? Because it's like, when you go through elections and people are mean to you, or when you have a very public position, or if you're a celebrity or an entertainer, people just are so mean and vicious.
They
And
get
it's
down to that. Well, look what they did to Princess Di. I mean, they
right.
literally chased her into a bridge abutment. But one of the things that you mentioned that you had Michelle Fullhart and Jocelyn Vare, your competitor. They watched our show, and I was thinking, well, they got beat pretty bad up there, and in Hamilton County, but yet they weren't they weren't sore losers, as I guess, and they didn't come back and bash anybody else. And of course, I didn't. I might have, spiked the football once, maybe on that because, they were. Tiffany, you said they were very mean about things, and the I would criticize Micah on calling people names, and they would not care about that. They were, oh, you're just one sided. No, I try to be fair and call it like I see it, but all they want to see is their narrative, and all they want to do is tear the other person down. And I think that divides us, and that's not what really helps. But as I mentioned earlier about my new Palestinian American friend that I have, we had just a great conversation. I don't know, honestly I don't know that much about the region to be very argumentative about any of it, but we had a good conversation, and folks were listening, and it was I think it was just very refreshing that it wasn't one-sided on other. He wasn't trying to sell me. I wasn't trying to sell him, like that I could sell him anything, but it was just
more
very interesting. Yeah,
like,
more informative. And I think, hopefully we'll get him on at some point. Hopefully on the 12th when I get back, we'll get him on, and you will see. I mean, I don't want to build him up too much on this, but very smart, very, obviously master's degree in the history of the region. His parents are from the region. So, it'll give you a different perspective, I'm sure of it. And I think one of the things that I said at the table was when we're individuals, when we're talking to each other on one-on-one, we seem to get along a lot better. But when you would get into a group is when we really start getting to be mob mentality. And, you start demonizing and dehumanizing the other person. You don't think that they're another person, because we are really a lot closer together on a lot of things than we aren't, but we all get our position, and you're just going to fight till you.
And I think, to your point, people need to be more introspective about it, because it's like, if I'm posting or doing things anonymously, is what I have to say really that important if I'm not willing to put my name on it?
Yeah, that was, well, now you're starting to sound like, who was that? Nikki Haley? Who's the one that said?
But then Tiffany, like, you shouldn't have to, like, I mean, I would hope that you are able to brush that off too.
But the
like,
thing
I
is,
hate that.
Brad,
it happens with me too. And
yeah,
it's just,
Brad, I appreciate it, and I'm a strong woman, and I'm secure. I have great mental hygiene, but everyone's not me.
And soft skin.
Thank you. Very, very smooth skin. But the thing is that like the things that people do, if you're not well, it will hurt you and it can break you.
Yeah.
If I had been a 15-year-old girl, you know what I'm saying? I might have been slitting my wrists. You don't know what I would have done, but that's everybody can't handle the same thing. And it's like, if I am not willing to put my name on it, if I'm hiding behind some kind of handle on social media, if I'm in it to puff my chest because of likes and retweets and comments of people who agree with me in my echo chamber, am I really being a good person? So I just really think that people need to understand, or just be introspective about what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah, and I would say that Brad's a good example of, I met him through this Hamilton East County Library Board. And, some of those folks were just meaner than snakes up there. But Brad, I never said anything, negative towards Brad. Brad always had good, sensible comments. It seemed like he was really interested in helping the situation. But man, I'm telling you what, there's some nut jobs that were involved in that thing. And,
you know, love Cassie.
Yeah. Well, I'd still like to get her on the show at some point and see if she's calmed down at all. We're going to call it Train Wreck at Hamilton County East or something like that. So, but she won't come on unless she gets to argue with Micah, which we could probably do that. So, all right, folks. Well, I got to edit this show tonight because I'm leaving in the morning. So we got to go.
All right. Well, best of luck.
But yeah, so tune in next week for the best of the conspiracy theory. You'll love it. I think it's very nice. So hold on. Let me check the comments before we go here. Yeah, they're still going at it. This one might go after hours on the thing. So now we got Adam involved in it. So awesome. All right. Well, hey everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you we'll be live on the 12th, the 12th of December. Hopefully we'll have a Palestinian viewpoint on there. We'll see how that works out. Otherwise, we'll have somebody. We'll have some brave soul come in. So, all right, let's see. Oh, I got to play the ending here. Oh, this is good. I got the right ending up tonight because we've had so many different people on the show. So, all right, everybody say good night and say, John, we love you.
John, we love you.
Oh, that was not very enthusiastic.
You said it.